This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. It's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's just more bullcrap. As most of you probably heard, we have more SpaceX bullcrap going on in our world. Oh, the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket carrying an Argentinian satellite launches in the air. Sonic booms through the air, and then it lands back at launch site. I mean, the same nonsense, garbage, the same space programming. What these are when these things happen is nothing more than them testing out Project Bluebeam, testing out how they can make these things look real to convince people that all this nonsense with space, going to the moon, oh, it's all so real, we're going to Mars. Yeah, guess what? We haven't been back to the moon since the fake moon landing. Maybe they should focus on getting back there. You think, well, if it was such an accomplishment, they could do it 50 years ago with with nowhere near the type of technology we have now. I mean, we have people who, you could take a crap and watch live TV on your phone. Or, the things that people can do now. They're talking to things in their house, Alexa demons in their house or Google Home demons in their house. They're turning on the lights for them. All this type of stuff. And it was so, we got there 50 years ago. They can't even go back, and they're talking about going to Mars. Well, we don't need to go back. Oh, we don't? Wouldn't you think, all the extra stuff that they do when testing, like that they want to go back? Maybe something's changed. Maybe the moon's turned into cheese since we were last there. Oh, wait, we were never there. It's never happened. But the SpaceX show is it's one of the funnier things. I mean, you can see the picture. You could see the holograms in the sky, right? We saw this around Christmas time. They did it. They're always doing this out in California, right? SpaceX launched a Falcon 9 rocket and satellite into orbit Sunday night from an Air Force base, creating a stunning sight in the night sky over Southern California. The liftoff came at its scheduled time of 7:21. SpaceX handled a separation of the rocket stages in flight, then landed the rocket booster back at its launch site on the California coast. So I guess that was easy to do, right? They launched up and then they just had a perfect landing back down. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. The primary purpose of the mission was to carry an Argentine Earth-observing satellite known as SAOCOM-1A into orbit, but SpaceX also wanted to expand its recovery of first stages to its launch site at Vandenberg Air Force Base, about 130 miles northwest of LA. SpaceX had previously flown first stage rockets back to land after Florida launches, but not done so on the West Coast. I mean, look, you're just reading bullcrap. That's all this stuff is, right? And look up at the sky. Look up at the sky. All right, well, can you see the holograms in the sky? Can you see the show in the sky? Because Project Bluebeam is going to happen. Okay, this has been the plan. You don't hear any mention of, when they talk about a lot of the conspiracies, right, and they mock a lot of the stuff, right? Obviously they're always doing the alien and the Sasquatch type of stuff, but when they're deflecting now, like they talk about, they'll bring up the Pizzagate and they'll go, Hillary Clinton's prostituting children out of a pizzeria, ha ha ha, right? And then they'll bring up, they brought up Jade Helm in the mainstream, stuff like that. They brought up, fluoride. You never hear them actually talk about Project Bluebeam because it might get people thinking, because people might go, yeah, there's really no evidence of an alien, and they'll go, oh, but there is, but it's all hidden government documentation, right? And then people sit there like, oh, I can't wait till they release this stuff. It's not real, okay? The X-Files, they might hint at a lot of this stuff that is real, but they'll also mix in a lot of the stuff that's not. One of these steps that's involved in Project Bluebeam, for those of you who don't know what it is a giant space show with three-dimensional optical holograms and sounds, laser projection of multiple holographic images in different parts of the world. Each will receive a different image according to a, whatever religious god, is in that area. Like, in other words, they would use the, the white, the Christian, what we all think or, have been taught the appearance of Jesus is, right? To convince Christians in America and in other countries, there'll be other gods. It's all just part of a gigantic show. Remember, the only goal of all of this is a one world everything, right? They have to turn everything into one. That's why we're seeing it right now with gender, right? They're taking away gender boundaries, and nobody's blinking. They're not going, oh, there's no such thing as a boy or a girl anymore. Everyone's gender neutral. So you could have a penis, you could have a vagina, but guess what? You're not a boy and you're not a girl. We're just one, right? And then what comes after that? The religion, right? I talked about the Pope and even the Vatican, just as ridiculous as it gets, even releasing a video where they're talking about all the religions coming together as one. Meanwhile, the Vatican, which is supposed to represent Christianity, which doesn't, it represents Satanism, because that's what the Vatican is, should be talking about how Jesus Christ is the only one way, right? But instead they're saying, listen, we need to accept all religions, all together, all world peace, right? So everything starts getting divided into one. Project Bluebeam, and like I've said many times, like I played the clip of Ronald Reagan talking about how it would take an outside force, an extraterrestrial force, to force everyone into thinking, oh my goodness, if there's aliens, then humans need to get together and become all, we need to work together because we're all humans and there's some type of a freak alien out there and we got to fight against it and become one and save the world. Just like the plots of all these movies like Independence Day, where everybody around the world's working together to get rid of the aliens. Okay. So Project Bluebeam is the perfect way for them to start bringing everything in as one. But let's be realistic. Everything already is forming that way as one, right? We're seeing everything come as one. So they love to do these fake, what they do is they test out all this stuff in the sky, right? If they just were testing it out in a factory somewhere, or, they have to test this stuff out. So they need an excuse for it. Right? So they always use, SpaceX, NASA. Oh, the government was doing some military operation in the sky. Well, they're testing this stuff out. They're testing holograms in the sky. They're testing it, seeing how legitimate it looks. I mean, the only way they're going to be able to pull it off is if they master it through testing it. Right? So then they come out and they go, SpaceX is up to something. And everybody goes, ooh, and and look up at the sky. And, it's such a beautiful light show in the sky. Like they're literally, the comments that people have said about the SpaceX launch is that it's wow, look up at how, no one's talking about, interesting. They're flying this thing and dropping a satellite out of their anus and then they're landing back in the spot. Oh, how interesting. Everyone's just saying, whoa, look at the sky. Look how freaky it looks and crazy it looks, right? Exactly. Because what do you think this is? This is a hologram in the sky. These people aren't going anywhere with rocket ships and re-landing them. I mean, give me a break. Amazing what people will buy into if they hear it on the news. But they've had it beaten into their heads so many times with the moon landing, with NASA, right? Millions of movies about the moon landing and millions of movies about the alien invasions, right? And life on other planets. And everybody thinks it's real and legit. Meanwhile, they're showing you in these other movies like demonic possession. And everybody goes, oh, that's not real. Whew, boy. I mean, it's amazing how this whole thing works. But you can see all these bizarre things in the sky. They say booms from the Falcon 9 boosters. That's the reason for the sound. So the Rocket 9 booster, or the Falcon 9, excuse me, boosters cause sonic booms and loud banging in the sky. It says a sonic boom warning. This won't be subtle, advised SpaceX founder Elon Musk on his Twitter feed at midday Sunday. Air Force officials have issued a warning that residents in Santa Barbara and Ventura counties in California could potentially hear one or more sonic booms due to the launch, right? So that's all this is just more experimenting and testing. They get away with this stuff because all they have to do is tell you that it's something else. And like the zombies everybody is, they just go with it. They don't care. They don't have time. And if somebody's like, hey, I investigated or I looked into it, they roll their eyes and they'll go, oh, it's fake news. Oh, it's a conspiracy theory. Because they literally don't want to question anything. Unless the media tells them that they should question it, right? Like, who did you vote for? Oh, you having second thoughts about voting for Trump? And people are like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have voted for Trump. Meanwhile, they don't even realize their vote doesn't count, that this isn't a republic. It's amazing. I mean, people are so far under the spell and the hypnotism that, when the Bible talks about the falling away and the great deception, I mean, you're in it. You're in it. The deception's going on. A lot of people like to pinpoint and say, well, it's going to be this one thing that's going to happen. It's going to be the great deception. Look at this time period. Every single thing is upside down. Everything. Everything everyone believes is a lie. Everything. The history of the world. Everything upside down. Flipped, inverted. How Satanists operate. And the deception's just getting thicker and thicker. So we've got a SpaceX launch, everyone. Oh, but they wouldn't be testing anything. Why would they be doing that? Nobody would ever want a new world order. Nobody would ever want total control. We're just showing it to you in every movie and warning you, and there's books. No, they don't think like that. Our government has our best interest at heart and at hand. Give me a break. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.